Well, we're here at the 2019 Atlanta NFRA Presidential Preference Conference, and boy, Christine, we have a lot of great guests.
It is. Even though it's not that big, we've got a great group of people going on here today.
And our next guest, Danielle Robinson, is from a group called Black Americans to Re-elect President Trump, and that's pretty good stuff. Talk about your organization.
Well, it's a really good organization with a key product, which is actually these little booklets. And what they actually do is, and this is for, my state that I'm in, North Carolina,
Everybody,
as well as, yep, that's it.
That's it. Read it carefully.
As well as other states. The ability to be able to reach out to the African American community with something that they can read. As you know, the Democrats have a hold on the Black community that's just beyond reason.
Yep.
It's beyond common sense. And the idea is that if you can reach them in a way that has them question some of the policies that they're supporting, just even voting your values and actually provide them with an alternative, which is this, an alternative to be able to see what the Democrats are really standing for and what Republicans and conservatives are really standing for. It'll allow them to say, why am I voting the way I do?
Yeah.
And this time, let me try something different.
Yeah, well, talking is not enough.
No, it's not.
Particularly in the Afro-American community. I mean, they've been talked about
Every
and they
4
have
years.
been talked at
Yeah.
for how long, right?
Yeah.
Now, this is something, I applaud everybody, not just even the Afro-American community, but all people to listen. This is probably one of the biggest tools
It is.
that can be used where they can actually become educated
And that's the key.
and inspired.
It's the idea that it's got to be one of information.
Yes.
Typically what's done is everyone wants to show up to the Black church strategically on an
Yes.
election year.
Yes.
And they'll show up to the church and they'll shake hands with the pastors, or they'll kind of door knock and leave flyers. And one, that's not affecting our community. It's not affecting, it's one of those things where through educating and teaching people to understand principles, you can be able to have them logically question. All you have to do is put in the question,
Good.
and then from there, people will work itself out. It's not about pushing an agenda. It's getting to say, here's the information. Why do you vote the way you do?
Good.
And if you find that you're voting against the beliefs that you have and the policies that you want to support, then let's switch it up. Vernon Robinson, he's the one that started, the founder of the organization, and he likes to say, this is key for those that want to ask for the vote. The Democratic Party, they don't even bother to campaign to us sometimes because they're used to having us locked in their pocket. And the Republican Party, conservatives, they don't really know how to ask for it. So here's how you can do that in a non-threatening way.
Right, but you said this is like a beginning, a foundational.
It is.
It's not going to happen overnight.
No, it's
because
not.
we all know we're trying to break through not just the slave mentality that people have been thrown at them so much in the African community for so long, but also that they have to be loyal to what they believe that their ancestors have done and traditionally has been run. But here you've broken the rules.
Yeah, we've broken the rules, and it's
Which
a lot
is
about
good.
it's a lot about exposing the Democratic Party. Now, I'm in North Carolina. We have a huge governor's race, an important governor's race, and I am on the committee to elect Governor Forrest, Dan Forrest, for governor, and it's all about the idea. Even now, it's challenging. Why do you hold the beliefs that you hold? Sometimes, if you put the information out, people will. I've had people stop and say, I don't know quite why I vote the way I do. I was just always told that we had to vote Democrat.
Right.
And so this booklet, what it does as well, it exposes the Democratic policies that we don't hear about in the media, so to speak, or they're slanted in such a way that it's not going, now wait, what are you really doing here? What does this really mean for our community? And what's the real results of what's going on with the policies that they put in place? That's what this booklet does.
Now you said there's more than one state involved. Is that there's a strategy that you're doing? How many states that you're really gearing for?
So, I mean, there's some states that, of course, are a target. There's always some, you only want to go where you think that there's a win. But
Sure.
it's the idea that anyone across the U.S. that's running a campaign and they are conservative and they are Republican that wants to at least approach our demographic, you've got to start asking, for the vote, because we're open to it. We're open to it, but with information. We're not open to it for just the propaganda of it. They're just showing up, flyering our doors, saying, hey, you should just vote Republican because nothing.
Right.
You got to give more than that.
Yeah, you do.
Well, the Democrat Party was the party of the Ku Klux Klan,
That is correct.
Jim Crow, 20 million black babies aborted.
Yeah.
They booed God at the convention in North Carolina. I mean, there's a long list that just the facts will set people free. The truth will set people free.
Yeah, and that's what it is. What I do like, so does this expose the Democratic Party policies? Absolutely.
Good.
It does. But it's not propaganda. It's real facts that we're putting in the hands of those that are in our community.
Sure.
And real facts that we're arming people who are not a part of the community. How do you
Sure.
engage it in such a way where it's, if you're Caucasian or if you're Asian or if you're whatever, if you're running for office and you want to reach the community, because guess what? It is good to reach our community.
Yeah.
It is good to feel that we are a base that you want to represent and interact and engage. It is good. And this is the way to be able to approach that, where you're providing information and it's not just propaganda and it's not just...
Well, how can our listeners, our viewers, support you, learn more about your organization? Do you have a website?
Yeah, we do have a website. You can go to Black Americans to Reelect the President. Like I said, you can even do a Google search if you can't remember that title. On Vernon Robinson. These booklets are 11 cents a piece. You can ask for them if you are running for state election anywhere, or if you're part of any group that wants to reach out to it, you can order these booklets. And these booklets are, you can leave them, you can give them out directly and hand them out to people, because what people want is information. People never, especially we're in the information age. The idea is that we're going to come across a lot of pieces of information that we are to digest. So people love this. This is a great way here. Just want to give you some information to inform it, and if you are open to discussing it or have other questions, let's create the dialogue where it's not so ramped up and so slanted and aggressive by the media.
Right, and also to be sure, I guess the churches would really want to respond to this as well.
Absolutely.
It'd be something to actually bring in.
This is almost like a voter guide.
Yeah, it is.
That's what it
reminds me of. Yeah.
It is. And why it's particularly key for the churches, it's the idea that Christians sometimes don't know how to balance their faith and their citizenship. And they do not have to coincide. I go to church all the time with members that I know are Democrats, and guess what? I still love them with the love of the Lord. I don't understand why they vote the way that they do, but
I know,
we're working on that. But it's a way to be able to get that information out, and it's okay for our churches to say, hey, let's have a look and just kind of put it all out on the table on policies, especially those that are affecting us locally, and see, let's just put it out there and absorb it and see what makes the best fit. And this is a start.
It is.
Especially if you have an all-black congregation, because it's just information. Everyone still has the power of choice.
Yes, they do.
The best thing you can do is offer information. And right now, in these days, unslanted information.
And again, I say, it's truth.
In truth.
It's truth that's going to set people free.
We're running up against a hard commercial break, I believe, but it's been a blessing having you on, Danielle.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Black Americans to re-elect President Donald Trump.
Yes.
Thank you for coming on the Surrey Command Radio Show.
Thank you so much.
All right.